Welcome to my channel, and for those who are already subscribers, welcome back. We are making a wonderful birria taco recipe that a lot of you have been waiting for. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through the recipe by starting with these beautiful Portobello mushrooms. Now, I used about 10 to 12 ounces, and I made sure that I cleaned these thoroughly before I started the cooking process because they tend to become a little dirty. You see that? Yeah, you want to remove that, but you don't want to submerge them in water, especially under running water, because the mushrooms can become really soggy because it absorbs a lot of moisture. So you see how mushrooms tend to take on the look of meat? That's why a lot of vegetarians and vegan love it, because of the texture. And since we're cutting it into quarter inch slices, we're also going to use the stems. Don't forget about the stems. The stems have lots of flavor. So we're just going to toss that around a little bit. I'm not adding salt because salt is going to draw out too much moisture. And we don't want soggy mushrooms. We want firm mushrooms before the cooking process, and then everything we add to it will, do its work. So to that, we're going to add 6 garlic cloves. Now, we don't want to mince them. We just want to give them a rough chop because everything is going to go into the blender at some point. So just 6 cloves of garlic. So you'll have to forgive me for not having my knives with me. When I left and came to Mexico, I didn't travel with all of my tools, and I deeply regret that. So when I go to these house sits, sometimes I just have to use the tools I have. And in this case, these are ceramic knives, which are, it's doing its thing, but I'd rather have my chef knives. And I'm gonna look for some chef knives in a few weeks just so that I can make sure that I'm using the tools of the trade. So don't pay any attention to the knives that I have. I'm working with what I have, and that's okay. So as you see, I chopped up a Roma tomato, which is all I'll need. It's a rough chop, along with a medium white onion. The white onion tends to have more sharpness as opposed to yellow onions or purple onions. So that's my preference, using white onions for Mexican cooking in particular. So again, we're just gonna rough chop it. And from there, I'm going to take a pot and just fill it with water, about 2 quarts, not too much, because we're going to actually soften the vegetables in this pot of water. So let's get the stove started because we're gonna heat up that same pot of water and we're gonna add all of those other wonderful ingredients. So you don't have to worry about boiling the water first. We'll just add all of the ingredients, such as the tomatoes and the onions, and we're gonna add some garlic and the Guajillo Chiles. We're gonna actually add some Morita chilies and just 2 ancho chilies so that it's not so smoky, but we're gonna make sure we remove the seeds, because if you don't remove the seeds, you're gonna have a spicy sauce. So just make sure you take the stems off of the pods as well as remove the seeds. So you just want to make sure that you push all of the ingredients down into the pot and make sure they're covered, because we want to soften these peppers and all of the beautiful vegetables. So now that the vegetables have softened, about 10-15 minutes will do it. You want to strain it. So we're going to remove the solids from the liquid, but don't throw out the liquid. We're going to use that later. And then we're going to take all of these beautiful ingredients and pour them into a blender. But first we're going to gather some of these other ingredients like olive oil and clove, bay leaf, pepper, oregano, a little bit of sea salt, and we're going to add that to the blender as well. Okay, so let's just take all of our cooked vegetables plus the chilies and make sure that you've removed those seeds. You don't want the seeds, and you should have done that before you started cooking them. But I just wanted to remind you to make a bookmark to remove the seeds unless you want a hot sauce, a more spicier sauce. Okay, so now that all the vegetables are in the high-powered blender, we're gonna add all of the other ingredients, and that is going to be the foundation for this beautiful birria sauce. So once again, if you didn't hear, all of the ingredients that I'm placing in this salt is everything you saw that was in the pot, plus the cumin, salt, oregano, cloves, the bay leaves, the black pepper, apple cider vinegar, and 1 cup of either basic olive oil or avocado oil. So this is what I decided to do. I said, you know what? I want to taste this with the tortilla chips just to see what it tastes like on its own. And it is absolutely delicious. So if you didn't want to go a step further and you didn't want to make birria tacos, you can make this as a dipping sauce. It is absolutely delicious. So now you want to add 1/4 cup of avocado oil or your basic olive oil to a pot. Allow that to heat for about 30 seconds and then you add your mushrooms. Now, once your mushrooms have cooked down about 5 to 10 minutes, then we're gonna add the sauce, this beautiful, rich and creamy sauce. This is where the magic happens. So you wanna make sure that you coat all of the mushrooms. And you know, it looks thick right here, but we're gonna add some of that reserved liquid from the vegetables. Not all of it, we're gonna add about 2 cups. Now make sure you reserve 2 cups of vegetable broth, which I have on the side, because that's gonna add another level of flavor. So I'm not gonna pour all of it in, I'm just gonna add 1 cup and just allow that to cook for about 10 minutes. And then as it cooks down, if it needs more, I'll add more. So now I'm just gonna give it a quick taste, make sure all the seasonings are on point, make sure I don't need any more salt. And this is the finished product after it has simmered for about 20 minutes. So now we're gonna prepare the tortillas. We're gonna bring 2 tablespoons of oil, either avocado oil or your basic olive oil, to a skillet. And then we're going to take the tortilla and dip it into the birria sauce and place it into the skillet. This is my favorite part. I probably could have used a little bit more oil, but I didn't, and that's okay. You can always add more if you need to. So what I'm gonna do is allow this to cook for about 1 minute on one side. I'm gonna flip it and then cook it for an additional 1 minute on the other side. We wanna make sure each side is nice and warm before we place the mushrooms into the center of the tortilla. So I'm just getting my plate ready because I wanna make sure it's plated as soon as it's done. Okay, so now we're adding the mushrooms. Okay, I guess we're gonna flip first. So let's flip it first, and then we'll add the mushrooms right into the center, about 1/4 cup. because we want to make sure that the mushrooms don't spill, because we want to enclose it. So we're going to add just a few more mushrooms, and then we're going to take one side of the tortilla, fold it over the other side just to make a half moon shape. But prior to doing that, I'm going to add my delicious nacho cheese sauce that I made ahead of time, and I'll show you the recipe here. You'll see the link above. It's really easy to make. It's a cashew nacho cheese sauce, and it is absolutely delicious. If you have my book feed, you already have the recipe there, but if you don't, you can always go to the link and I'll show you how to make it. Okay, so now we're just going to remove it from the heat, plate it, and then we're going to continue doing that with all of our other tortillas. Just want to make sure that we prepare all of them, or you can actually use the leftovers and put them in the refrigerator if it's just a meal for one at this point. So now I'm just going to add a few sides. I love fresh ingredients, so I'm going to take this cucumber and slice it very thinly, because that's going to go into the inside of my taco, plus a little bit of guacamole on the side. So I just took a ripe avocado, and I'm going to add 1 to 2 teaspoons of fresh lime juice and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mash that up together. You know, guacamole isn't complicated. You can add other things to it, but really this is the foundation of guacamole. Simple ingredients, just mashed avocado, salt, and a little bit of lime. So I'm just going to gather all of my fixings, my cucumbers, a little bit of the nacho cheese, guacamole, and you can substitute the bean sprouts for cilantro. It's your world. Do whatever you want, but this is a wonderful recipe, which I'm sure you'll enjoy making. Unlock your culinary creativity with Cooking with Plants, an online on-demand cooking school that makes mastering plant-based recipes easy and enjoyable. Our comprehensive e-courses, curriculum, and step-by-step module provides all you need to prepare delicious, healthy dishes at home. Each course includes engaging video tutorials, downloadable recipes, and additional resources. And you can even download the videos for unlimited access. In fact, there are new courses uploaded every week so that your curriculum stays fresh. Connect with fellow students on our student board, ask questions, and gain confidence in your plant-based cooking skills. Get ready for our new holiday course launching November 2024, featuring our famous macaroni and cheese, smoky collard greens, and your holiday favorites, all vegan style. Register for free and preview a course at no cost. Enroll now, and we look forward to seeing you in class.